Sorry about all the, the background noise, but I like the kitchen for this one because it's easy to talk about this in. Let me pull up a chair real quick so I can use this better. Oh yeah, I forgot we have these things. Uh, so, I wanted to talk about a bit more of a serious topic personally. It's a bit sad, for sure. Um, but it's definitely one that I really can relate to in a lot of ways. And this, losing loved ones, it's a very strange process. It's, I guess there's like stages to it. But, as someone who has lost quite a few people I was close to, which should be, I think that's a big surprise considering two of the three were very old, and I should have expected they'd die, but I really didn't. And the same goes for the third one. They weren't really old, but they were. I should have expected they would die because of how they were living life and their flawed way of thinking, and just the fact that they had very little opportunity by the time that they were close to death. And these three people would be both of my great-grandparents on my grandfather's side and my mother, which I know sounds really weird, but I actually got to know my great-grandparents pretty well, and man, it's weird to be able to do that, and I think it's very painful to be able to do that because you'll know that, these people, they're in like their 70s, their 80s, and it's just, you should know that they're going to die, but you don't want them to because, well, you know so much about them. You've been around them for 12, 13 years, and they've cared for you almost like actual grandparents. It's sad, man. It's because by the time that people are sweet old grannies and grandpas, it's like, how could you hate them? It's so hard to dislike them for anything they do because really, they're living the last part of their lives, and they're probably in a lot of pain. So they do kind of dumb things and just try and relive a bit of their more fun days. So it's a lot of emotion, definitely. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this. It's just kind of sad, just losing people that you've known for a while. My great-grandfather was the first one to go. He died of I believe, a brain aneurysm. Yeah, a brain aneurysm. I think it was something to do with a stroke, and he fell down, and my grandfather was watching over him, but didn't realize that he fell down, and he just died, just like that. He just went gone. Not immediately, but within just like 4 or 5 hours. The man that we knew that was fun and fit and active for his age was just out of the picture. Gone. Done. Nothing left. And that kind of a realization that he could have died at any moment was just crushing. And I'm not going to cry over it because this was years and years ago, but I might get a little bit choked up over it, so sorry if I do. And he was very nice to be around. He was a very energetic old man. Then it comes to my great-grandmother. Now this actually, she was just a bit older than my grandfather when she died. I mean, not my grandfather, my great-grandfather, when she died, and there wasn't really any big cause of it, just a lot of small build-ups over time. Like, this was the unbreakable woman here. She must have been Margaret Thatcher's aunt or something, because she was just made of steel. She would fall down the stairs and get back up like nobody's business, even in her 60s and 70s. I mean, the woman was unbreakable, Jesus Christ, but it was all those minor, small injuries and small little buildups of conditions that caused her to stop working. just suddenly. And it's paradoxical in a way because you'll have this slow build-up and then this quick death. You'll know what's coming, but you don't want to accept it. And it's crushing when it happens because you didn't want to. Denial is such a strong and powerful tool that we use to keep ourselves happy in the moment and without thinking of existential dread. And when denial fails, it's, well, I guess an accurate metaphor would be just hitting a brick wall. You hit a brick wall and it's sad, man. Like, it just all fails because this wasn't supposed to happen. She was supposed to live for she was supposed to live for like another 5 years or something. She was supposed to be a strong woman, someone who could beat the odds. But it's these small buildups, it's all these small little things that come together and add up that kill people, and it's, debilitating to them, of course. I mean, they're the ones who have like glass skin and paper bones at that age, and to everyone around them, to their children, to their children's children, and their children's children. And it's a hassle to deal with, I'll admit that much. And now we come to the most personal death for me. My own mother, my biological mother. She died about a year ago. More like 9 months, really. And it's not much has changed after that, actually, because she never got custody, which I am thankful for because, if she'd gotten custody, I probably wouldn't have had such a good life. I look at my a cousin of mine. I'm not gonna name him, but the dude has been through a lot. I can tell you that. He's been through some probably very bad parenting, and I know it's pretty disrespectful to say this, but my mother's family probably wasn't the best. Probably wasn't the best at raising her. She turned out as a fairly smart person, but one who couldn't control herself. This leads us to how she died of an overdose. And I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. She always told me that she would pick me over the drugs that she would go to jail for over repeatedly, and that never seemed to change. How she went to prison, how she ended up staying there, and taking years off her life and getting unhealthy. If you think you get free exercise in prison, that's not true. They feed you clearly bad things, because when she came out, she was, because my mother, I am a string bean just like my mother. I have the same build as her basically, and she is very thin. I myself weigh just over 110 pounds, and I'm actually taller than my mother. So she probably only weighed around 120 or 130 pounds, and I'm pretty sure that's actually considered a little bit overweight, which is that's really telling. And that was how she was normally, but just a few nights before she died, she was a lot heavier. I could tell it. She had put on a lot of body fat, so I'm assuming the prison didn't feed her very good food, or that thing about ramen was really, really true in prison. Prison destroyed who she was, how she looked, and how she acted. She was always this carefree person that I would be around, and she would come over on the weekends, and we would just hang out, and I would talk to her some, and she would go off. I never knew what she did at night, what she did when I wasn't there, when she wasn't thinking very well about what she was doing, but I could assume, and that kind of a assumption is just not what I wanted to think about, so I didn't. Like I said, denial is a very strong tool, but it didn't save me when she died. I've tried not to think about it for the longest time now because I don't want to interfere with it. It goes against my personal philosophy of if it doesn't help me go to sleep or wake up, don't think about it. But that'll, it hits eventually. It hits whenever you are at your weakest, whenever you don't have the confidence to keep those thoughts out, whenever you don't have the strength to keep those thoughts out, whenever you're thinking too hard about something to keep those thoughts out. And they'll come on you and they'll just latch on and they'll ruin your day. Maybe even more than a single day. And it's all a bunch of sadness from there on. I don't think I'm depressed. I've never been diagnosed with it. I've only had signs of it once and I overcame them. I don't think I have had a bad life. I think I've been given very good opportunity through my life and I won't complain about it. I wish my mother had been around more, but that's not really in the cards now, is it? It's a lot. So, thanks for watching.